Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences. They say you can't judge a book by its cover, and that's very often true. But when I saw this album cover, when I was cruising the web, it basically carjacked me into looking more into it and clicking on the Bandcamp page as usual and seeing what it sounded like. And I have to tell you that that image perfectly fits the music therein, and the album was purchased as a result. So let's have a listen then to Astwihad, I presume. And I'm prepared to be delighted, I think. So, if ever a track gave you a hint of the portent within the opening sort of otherworldly, not quite there synth that introduces this song would put it this way: if you couldn't take the hint, then it's pointless. It may have been in neon flashing lights, darkness dwells within here. So if you're not at that point delighted enough when those pounding drums kick in, for me that's a point of no return there. That I've reached the event horizon, and this lot of this artist has drawn me in, never to escape his clutches or their clutches. So yes. Or this is the third track, and but the first track did the same to me. I listened to it, but this is, I think, and it's a Nat's Cod between them all. But this is probably my favourite track, which is why I'm playing it to you. Now, given how prominent the instrumentation is on this track, um, it's quite intriguing that the vocals are buried, under a ton of bricks. Basically, they are barely discernible, but in many ways, in the same way that melody in lots of black metal is buried deep, it's apparent enough to have an effect. So again, the all I think of and listen to, I don't read the Stitherham, the descriptions and whatever on these pages, because I'm just not really interested, to be honest, by and large. But things catch your eye, and it says here ritualistic music for the demon of death, and you know you wouldn't have an argument against that really, as to what this music conjures, and I think that's an apt sort of description for what you're hearing. I've left the microphone way over there, so I hope you picked up on this. This is going to be one of those videos where I get it all wrong. I start off with not having my microphone anywhere near me, and then I was puzzling just before I made the last comment about the buried vocals, because I was convinced I'd heard more prominent vocals when I'd heard the album before, and I've only heard this in its entirety probably once, or twice, yes, twice. So I was convinced there were more prominent vocals, and of course there are. If I'd waited a minute, it would have been obvious. But nonetheless, I was convinced I heard really, really buried vocals in that mix. How wrong could I be? But anyway, so the vocals, when they really kicked in, complement that darkness very well, and the darkness here is an inky darkness. It's a rich darkness. There's it's as if you're drowning in crude oil, really. So yeah, let's listen to the rest of the vocals, shall we? I'm convinced I can still hear both vocals deep down. There's definitely something way in the background which I thought were vocals that must be something else. But yes, those vocals would be very much on home on a Funeral Doom album, the long drawn out scowl. And when I first listened to this, there was something very familiar about it, and I was racking my brain, and the fact that this band is from, I wasn't racking my brain really. It was new. It was virtually there, obvious to me, just ready to be plucked and grasped. Excuse me. The artist comes from Iran, and as soon as I saw Iran there, I thought to myself, Four Luna. This reminds me of a very dark Four Luna. And then when I was deciding which track to pick for this video, I noticed on the page reference to Errance Noir, and it all sort of clicked then why this sort of seemed so familiar. It is really those, if they are separate artists, those two artists working together to form a darker amalgam of their other works. And very compelling it is too. So there you go. How thick was the atmosphere on that? My only complaint really would be that long drift out at the end, which they always catch me out. They do, but in the context of the full album, totally appropriate. So yes, as I say, very much atmospheric. And if this album was fog, it would be fog you couldn't walk through. It's that dense. So yes, those. If that's tickled your fancy, then you'll like the whole all three tracks on here. As I say, thick Venusian atmosphere almost, and one of those albums that will have you drifting into another place, hopefully not the netherworld that it alludes to, but we want you to come back to listen to another video, don't we? We do. Although perhaps having listened to this, I might be destined for the same location, but who knows? Anyway, waffle, clicky bollocks. Catch you all next time. Cheerio.